Hello and welcome to Newsbeat on Internet Television International, transmitting from our Abuja studios in Nigeria. I'm Christine Opara. In the news, Jonathan Sambo applauds Nigerians for support. Inec proposes March-April 2011 to hold Nigeria's general elections. Elliot Ness of Africa expresses run for Nigerian presidency. Details of these and more coming shortly. President Goodluck Jonathan has accredited the immense support he and Vice President Namadi Sambo received at the affirmation of their joint candidacy for the presidential ticket in the 2011 elections at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Dr. Jonathan thanked the millions of Nigerians for their messages of hope and encouragement and gave an assurance of his administration's commitment to transforming the country through tackling the problems of power, security and infrastructure, as well as the war on corruption. President Goodluck Jonathan made known his intention to contest for presidency in the upcoming 2011 elections on Saturday, September 18, 2010, in an open rally in the Federal Capital Territory. The president garnered a lot of support from Nigerians, which turned out en masse to support Dr. Jonathan and his deputy Namadi Sambo. Over 90% of registered political parties in Nigeria have reason to support INEC's request for extension of time to conduct the 2011 general elections. The chairman of INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, on Tuesday engaged the leaders of the political parties in a 7-hour consultative meeting in Abuja. Jega said due to nagging time constraints, the commission required 3 months extension on its timetable. Correspondent Shayo Adebumi was there and now reports.
The consultative meeting, which took place on Tuesday between INEC and the leaders of the political parties, was the second of its kind. The meeting, which lasted for several hours, earned INEC a majority vote supporting its bid for extension of time to conduct the 2011 general election.
I think it is very, very clear that there is an overwhelming consensus that we are facing a serious time constraint, and it is necessary for something to be done to address this time constraint. And if I got the message very clearly, most of the contributors not only are supportive of the need to have additional time to be able to do a good work, they have also pledged to be supportive in terms of ensuring that this time extension is got. I think the question on the table has been, what is the time that INEC needs? And I think maybe now I can put it on the table. We've done our calculations, we've done our computations, and some people in their contributions have also seen what we have seen. You know, if you take into consideration all the timelines that have been missed, what additional time would we require? So it's very, very clear that we will need not less than 2 additional months. That will take us to March. But what is worth doing again is worth doing well. If we are willing to give an extension up to March, our preference is that we should get an extension up to April.
Jega said the extension of time would not in any way delay the handing over date of May 29, and INEC is not seeking more money to conduct the election.
First of all, if we have sufficient time up to April, we know that there are some Nigerians, whatever you do, they will go to court. So we are not talking about those category of Nigerians. But we are saying that we will have enough time and enough opportunity to do such a good job, the result of which may reduce drastically the possibility of litigation. And if that happens, then really the dangers that we are worried about are not likely to occur. And so really that is why for us, our preference is if we can get up to April, then definitely we will do a grade A job in this regard. All we are saying now, and I think it should be evident to most people who have listened to what we have said, we asked for money and we've developed a plan to be able to do something with that money And it is evident to us that the plan will not, the time will not enable us execute that plan as we have given. So the time we are asking for is to enable us execute the plan that we have planned. So nothing has changed. We will still use 120. It's important that we recognize this point. And by the way, we asked for 89.7 billion. We ended up getting only 87.7 billion. So there is a shortfall, even though we haven't been talking about it. We are not going to ask for it, because we've decided that we will do our best to be cost effective and operate within the funds that have been given to us.
Speaking against the provision for staggered election, Dr. Nwodo says,
the Electoral Act is good, but we are not ready for it. The staggered elections cannot be implemented in the short period we have. We have tried to work it out. It's difficult.
Elections will be held and it will be credible. The onus and responsibility is on your commission to ensure that you get the materials at each of the 120,000 polling stations in this nation on time. You have the time to plan it between now and January that is slated for election.
The circumstances are such that there is no way we can have these elections in January. And this was clearly created by the attitude of both the executive arm of government and the legislature. It is as if they have connived to create this situation where clearly it's not possible. And therefore, there is no alternative but to take the elections further to allow us to have a proper arrangement, particularly having a very credible voters register.
If a time extension is granted, it will, however, necessitate an amendment of the Electoral Act and the amended Constitution.
Former Nigerian anti-corruption boss Malam Nuhu Ribadu has announced he will run for Nigeria's top job next year. Ribadu has earned worldwide acclaim and the nickname of Africa's Elliot Ness for his willingness to take on some of Nigeria's most powerful political figures on corruption charges. Ribadu told reporters in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, that he planned to run for president as part of a new party, the Action Congress of Nigeria, a breakaway faction from one of the country's leading political parties. Ribadu, the former chief of Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, is loved by some in Nigeria's political class, but equally hated by others. Under Ribadu's leadership, the EFCC has convicted Nigeria's top police official on corruption charges and launched investigations of a former vice president and 31 of the country's governors. Meanwhile, the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Olurotimi Akeredolu, yesterday declared his support for Malam Nuhu Ribadu. Mr. Akeredolu spoke at Obafemi Awolowo University as chairman of the 4th Emeritus Lecture Series in honor of Professor David Ijalaye. Mr. Akeredolu did not mince words when talking about some other presidential aspirants. He said those aspirants who had the chance to lead the country in the past had no moral ground to talk about change or run for president, and charged the students to resist bad leadership. A federal high court sitting in Lagos has adjourned the hearing of the contempt proceeding against the former members of the executive committee of the Nigerian Football Federation to Thursday, September 23, 2010. At the initial hearing of the contempt proceeding yesterday, only 13 of the defendants were in court. 15 others were absent. Notable among the absentees are the former president of the NFF, Aminu Meigari, Amos Adamu, a member of the Confederation of African Football, and the immediate past Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bolaji Ojoba.